Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Today we're going to talk the new Recon mission, and I am going to give you my opinion of it. So, should we just start off with the Reader's Digest Condensed Edition? It's bad. it's bad. I played 4 games. If you're looking for something different, it checks the box off on different. If you're looking for something that's good, I don't think it checks the box. If you're looking for something that might be a future inclusion in World of Tanks, I would hope that it never sees the light of day, especially in its current mode or current form. I think there's some graphically interesting things going on with the fires and the sandstorms and the rain, but in terms of the way they have it mech'd, it's atrociously bad. I would love for Wargaming to stop with the fool's errand of gimmicky modes and gimmicky tank, press X and the tank does this, that, or the other. I don't know why this is so hard to figure out, and I think the gaming world has this idea that if you don't change, you die. And while in general that's true, the question is, what is the change? So again, my opinion, my advice, not that it is taken or anyone cares, and the 15, 20 of us that are watching this, they should, take a year, man. Just take a year, concentrate on nothing but tank balance. Don't release another new tank. Stop it. Tank balance, and most importantly, call that 25, maybe 40%. Most importantly, in the next year, put out 20 maps. You put another 20, 30 maps into the game, it's based on the way the rotation goes, it will feel like an entirely new game. And then you iteratively improve the maps as you go. I don't know what it takes to make a map. Obviously, I'm not a developer of software or games. Well, I sort of am, but more of a hobbyist side. Maybe a bad hobbyist side, I guess. But I have been, and I will tell you, I have been a power user and a trainer of men and women using software and gaming kind of simulations for a very long time. Very long time. And I think where World of Tanks is falling flat on their face is not paying attention to the base part of the game that got them here. The best part of the game, which is actually the standard random gameplay. Probably an argument in there along the way to work a bit on your Clan Wars stuff as well, to keep the top end interested and playing. But I really feel like they are spread too thin, trying to be everything to everybody and do everything all at once, and none of it works. None of it's working for any one person or any one clique, I guess, or section of the community. Stuff like this, and we'll give you 4 examples here. I played a light tank, a medium tank, a heavy tank, and an arty. We'll get into the gameplay mechanics of it, but they're pretty just bad, basically. If the game had come out with these as part of the game, I don't think it ever gets as big as it did, because it really breaks, diminishes, changes a lot of the core interesting gameplay about the game. It takes sections of the map and turns them into their own little brawl that is unaffected largely by the rest of the map. It's bad, guys. So let's take some examples or take a look at some gameplay. How do you get there? If you're here on your regular screen, most of you know, you click that, you'll come down here, you'll click on Recon Mission. It'll actually, if it's the first time you did it, will take you to the area where it shows the awards. Let's look at that because, can I not see that now? How do I get to the awards section of Recon Mission? I don't know. Special reward? Oh, show progression. All right, so the button down here, show progression. Oh boy, that's not it. Help me understand. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Found it. Found it. The green one. kind of unobvious, but click on the green one. There you go. So it's going to be, I think, 50 games-ish once you finish all of these, be in the top 12 players, so you can't just bot through it. And then you can take a survey on each one of the maps. We have, they haven't named the maps here, dadgummit. Yeah, they have their big word right there. Sandstorm, fire, which, okay. Heavy rain and fog. Oh, they haven't named the map. They've just named the thing that... Okay. All right, fog is on 2 maps. I'm not even going to try. Fire's only on 1 map. Sandstorm's on 1 map. Heavy rain is on 2 maps. Oh my gosh. Westfield and Fisherman's Bay or something like that. And this one is a new map I can't remember. And channelized map that's not really fun anyway. And then fire is on, I don't remember. Magic Forest, there's a fire there. Sandstorm is not, Sandstorm is on Sand River. There you go. I think I got one. I think I got one. The rewards, this is why I say don't bother, fellas. There's some styles, some premium days. If you're a free-to-play player, then playing 10 of these and getting a premium day might be quite worth it, because then you'll have a nice 24 hours. Also learned that it will count towards your stats, and it will count towards the number of battles your tank has in a random battle. So it's basically just like playing a random battle in terms of your stats and your number of games played on your tank. And I assume marking and all that good stuff as well. I haven't completely checked marking, but it did tick another game when I looked at my total games in the tank. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know. I haven't thought about it too hard. Maybe some of these are good for missions potentially. Don't know. And the next question I have while we were in real time and I'm thinking about it, did I get Battle Pass points? That's not Battle Pass points. Let's take a look at this. I don't even know if I did well enough to get Battle Pass points. I don't think so. You got to be top 10, don't you? Yeah, I probably didn't get any Battle Pass points off of this. Come over here. Elite points. No, doesn't look like it. But I don't think I was top 10, so I don't deserve it anyway. Did I get top 10? No, I know I did in 1. Let's take a look at my results here in the Arty. Did I get Battle Pass points? Yes. All right, so proven. You do get Battle Pass points. Very good. All right. We're going to take a look at the 4 examples, talk a little bit about the game mechanics right there. That was kind of a long intro in terms of giving you the Reader's Digest condensed version. I do not recommend this mode. If you want to just check it out and see something new, go for it. If you're not interested in something that's bad, I would skip it. But, you know, how's it go? Experiences may vary. All right, let's take a look. Here we are on the first map on Fisherman's Bay, which happens to be the rainstorm. If you take a look, we'll go ahead and make the mini-map largy. The little symbol right there means rain. You can see the faint white line around it. That is essentially a magic wall. If you're on the outside, you only see things outside. You don't see anything inside. If you're on the inside, you don't see anything on the outside. Sort of. There is a time frame at which the things will, how would you say, it's kind of like the spotting thing where you get spotted, and then once you're unspotted, it takes X number of seconds before you're either unspotted or they go away, and that depends on your skills and things. So there's a couple ways to change that. What that means is you can jump into the circle, see a bunch of people, run outside the circle, and you will still be spotted, and they will still be spotted by you for X number of seconds until that timer ends, as if you had been spotted or unspotted. I haven't done the math on whether it's the full 10 seconds with the plus or minus. I don't know that, but there is a grace period where you are seen or unseen. You are not going to send radio waves in there. So let's say I jumped into the circle, jumped out. I would still see the guys in the circle for X number of seconds, but I would not be passing any information about the guys in the circle to anybody outside of the circle. Does that make sense? Let me also say this about gameplay in this, or this mode in general. A lot of you have probably already played considerable number of battles in this. You may have grown to like it. I am quite certain there are different tactics and ways to play it that might be fun, because if you all dogpile into the little circle, it's quite the brawl in there, and you won't be bothered by snipers. For example, on Fisherman's Bay. This middle area, people get up in there and they get shot by snippers up here in the northwest. They get shot by snippers down here in the southwest, shooting in all kinds of crap like that. Well, that doesn't happen. As long as you're in there, you are magically invisible to everybody outside. So you really have a brawl inside the circle, a fight outside the circle, and then people crossing in and out. I'll show you what I mean. So that being said, I am sure there are a few of you out there who kind of like it, and I get that. That's fine. I just find it to be bad. All right, here we go. We're about to go into the circle. I'm looking backwards. All right, in the circle, heavy rain complicates spotting, blah, blah, blah. Now, watch this. I just sit here for a second. It looks to be about the 10-second thing-ish, plus or minus. But look at that, gone. Where'd they go? I don't know. They're all magically gone. I'm in the rain, man. I can see the cap. I can see the bush. I can see that rock. I can even see that dead World War I tank. But for some reason, everyone else has disappeared. I know graphically they have to make a choice. Otherwise, they'd just make a big wall right here of rain. I don't know, man. This is what I'm talking about. Now, I can see the RHM. See how he's inside? Whoop. All right. I do something stupid here because this is literally the first game. My thought process here, which was incorrect, and I wasn't thinking about how this would necessarily go down. We see 100 LT on the enemy team there. Now that 110E4 can't see me or him. See the 110E4 outside the circle? As long as he hasn't punched in and just dodged back out, he's not going to see any of us. None of these guys down here, so there's no shots from my team on this 100 LT, which is why he's being probably a little more aggressive, I think, than he would otherwise be. I sort of thought that maybe only a few people would go in here, not being the smartest guy in the world. What I come to find out after playing this mode just a little bit, got the patent come up here, is that essentially everybody wants to be inside of this new area to see how it does work. So as I come around here thinking this will be fine, it is not fine. Alright, so I just YOLO. I YOLO and die. Look at this thing. Look how many guys. They're all in there. Which, if I'd have thought about it for even half a second, as this is a recon mode and everyone's trying to figure out the stuff as well, even though it's a day or two later from it starting, obviously everyone's going to want to get in there and see what's going on. So what is? Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's half the team in there essentially, all up in that spot right there. That's the end of that battle. We'll move on. So that's what we've learned, kind of showed you how the mechanics of that works. But you can see that there's going to be a brawl in this little circle dome, right? We got Thunderdome, and then we have the rest of the wasteland outside. Okay, so 8 men enter and Guido does not leave. Okay, second example, this is the medium, and we are now on the fire, in the fire zone, and this is, what is it called? Muravanka, I should have remembered that beforehand. Notice that we have a fire, so if we take a look down here, why is this thing not big? There we go, we've made it big, so to speak. This white line is really difficult to see right here, but there is a white line, and it is not a circle, all right? So they're not all circles. The magic forest bees on fire, all right? So we got the little fire symbol right there. So we're gonna go over here, you can see the graphically what's going on. And what's interesting about the fire, and I think this line is sort of there on the rain as well, but there's a little line of fire that actually shows the exact edge of this particular event. If that exists on the other ones, it's a little more subtle. It's harder to see. If you are looking for a guide on how to dominate in this mode, you're in the wrong place, because I am just in kind of exploration mode right here, and I do not in fact dominate. I go 3-1, had nothing to do with me. I averaged like 900 damage a battle, most of it on 2 different battles. I don't even know if I have any damage on this one. All right, so we've gone into the fire, which actually happened before the edge of this thing. So to be honest, it looks like the real edge of it is a little further out, my friends, because I am already inside the white line. So while that's helpful, that's not the exact line, the little fire line right there. That being said, I didn't see the Char moving up here until about right here, because he is also inside the fire. Notice the sniper spot that people love at about, Mr. Mouse, where'd you go? At about C0, you know where the bushes are, maybe between B and C. Useless. You can't fire in because you can't see them. You can see them on the mini map notice how I can see these guys over here on the minimap, the PZ7 or the Panzer 7, etc., which means I could line up a shot and looking at terrain and such and take a guess at it like a blind shot. But it would be a blind shot, which normally would be well within view range. Notice my view range is also limited. The green line has come well inside the white line right there because of the smoke. But still, I'm not going to actually draw. So really what you have is a new draw distance line, which is the white line right here. It will not draw anything out of that while you are inside, even though there could be somebody there. Oh, look at the floating. Wait a minute, what the heck? Why are they floating? We have floating embers right there. I have my I have my graphics up pretty high, so there's something goofy going on there. Feature bug, don't know. It's a new mode, who knows? But we have some stuff floating into space right there. All right, I get spotted. Then I'm sort of curious about the fire, so we're going to do a little exploration. I wondered if you would immediately start taking damage, so I move up here. And of course that makes now, in the sand and the rain, it doesn't stop you from getting in certain parts of terrain, but the fire is problematic. I can't really use this spot right here, to be honest, because it's on fire. So we're going to come over here and say, all right, what's going on with this fire? We go into it. All right, we get a fire symbol. Things go a little red. We got the little fire symbol down here in the middle. And I'm watching my hit points. I'm like, it got me nervous. I'm like, I don't want to be on fire. I'm like, wait a minute, it's for science. I have to get in fuego, all right? So I wait, do. There it goes, and it starts to tick down. Not super fast, but you'll see the ticks for the fire damage. So I've taken 86 math and public fire damage. We'll move around here. Let's see if we can shoot a really heavily armored TD. No, we're just going to eat a shot because we're a Muppet. And we die. I told you we're not here for my great gameplay. I'm just trying to show you the mechanics. But once again, you can see that the Thunderdome is now on fire and everyone is in there. All right, or a lot of people are inside that. There's nobody. Look how neither team has guys camping in the back because there's nothing you can do back there. Right? There's no snippers back here in the north. There's no snippers down here in the south. Everyone's in Thunderdome. Trying to be the man, all right? Next example. I wanted to play an Arty because you can already start to think about some of the problems with Arty. This actually turns out to be one of my better games in this because I'm going to try a couple things. I do want to talk a little bit about scouts, though. Obviously, I haven't messed around with it too much, but putting a scout into one of those areas, it might be that you can get into some bushes and do some kind of spotting in that, but the ranges are really short, even with the reduction in spotting range based on the view range being knocked down. I don't think there are many scouting spots, and if you're on the edge of that area, and somebody pops in, they're going to see you immediately, especially if you're close to where they pop in. Also, it does not seem, right now anyway, that proxy spotting works. If you're right outside of it and someone's right inside, I think you can be right next to each other and not spot each other, which is of course idiotic. So if they're going to do something like this, they definitely have some work to do on the actual mechanics of how it works. My understanding with World of Warships is it gradually decreases view range and it's not as abrupt. And this just may be a situation where, as of right now, they just haven't written the code to change it, or maybe they think this is a cool way to do it. I don't know, but it's pretty silly. All right. So I can see scouts being problematic. You know, scouts are going to try to sit in a spot and control a large area, but if you're outside of the Thunderdome, there's no control inside of it. So people can transit through it and appear on the other side and be closer maybe than you want to be. And that is one of the really cool things about scouts. I will say this about scouts in World of Tanks. I don't think Wargaming intended that kind of gameplay, the spotting kind of gameplay, to develop as it did in the game meta-wise. I think they never really intended that, and I think there are people still who are developers who don't like it that much based on the number of ways they've tried to limit, especially via maps or some game mechanics, the ability of scouts to do things. Now you might disagree and go, well, I can prove that's incorrect because of the Mana Core and ELC, but those are few and far between. All right, I wanted to show you this. Those guys are in Thunderdome. This one only has one rain area. You can see the circle right there. So the whole brawl where the heavies are, your artillery, where do you aim in? You aim at brawl points. Most of, or not most, but well, most of the spots where these effects are kind of brawl points. All right, being able to support with artillery is not a thing. I am just going to go, you know what? I kind of know where they are. I know what the terrain looks like right here. This is a little hill. I'm going to change to the G view, I think, and kind of show you. But I know this is a place guys are going to peek around the corner. These guys also know that Snipper Hill at D1 and Snipper Hill at A4, A5 are no factor. So they can be a little more aggressive in poking the hill. They don't have to worry about being zapped. Notice the JPZ has got inside of Thunderdome. He is not sitting back there. Now you might push up with JPZ anyway, but we can also tell there are no TDs. Somehow the 268-4 did not get the memo. Maybe he's transiting south. I don't remember what he does, but he's not going to do anything. Only way Mr. 268-4 is going to do anything is if somebody comes trundling out the south edge or the southeast edge of Thunderdome. Otherwise, he's just waiting for whatever to die in here and the enemy to push through. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's moving south. Let's see that. But I also know kind of where people will sit and where the hold down positions are. So I'm just going to go, pook, and I'm going to move because there is another artillery, so he might try to take a stab at me. I don't want him to get lucky. Turns out, after I look at the results of this, that I actually hit a few of these guys and get some splash damage. And check it out. The enemy artillery is doing the same thing. Problem is, it's not terribly effective because I don't know exactly where these guys are, so you're kind of taking stabs in the dark. I also wonder if at this point, and I can't prove it, but I think I'm getting experience off of this as if I'm blind shooting, where you don't share. I don't think I'm getting spotting with the guys that are up there. I can't prove that, but based on the experience I get, that's what it feels like to me, because I'm second or third in experience and do pretty well on this. Get 2,000 damage or something like that. Looking at the T10, I think he's probably hold down right there. But I've still got a long reload. Unfortunately, the time for the reload there. So that's what I wanted to show you, where I kind of went down. That, you know, that little ridge right there, and I can see that the TS60 and the JPZ are sitting there. All right, so the 4005. You notice he just snuck out the back of the Thunderdome. He's right at the edge. So he was seen by those guys inside. Then he snuck outside, timed out as if he had gone dark behind a bush or a wall or something, and then disappeared. So I take a stab at him. I don't know if I got anything out of that. I do some damage to him a little later as well, so I'm not sure where all the hits came from. I'm sort of watching down to the south because that's kind of a problem right now. The team starts to get into a losing situation. I'm looking at the E75. I know he's in this flat area somewhere, probably right about hither. But I also like the JPZ because I think the TS thing is near him. So I'm just going to take a stab at him because I might get a twofer out of him and the TS. Actually, the TS has moved. Never mind. I just noticed the TS is actually pushed forward. So that's actually what I was thinking of at the time. I was incorrect. I was wrong, sir. That's still Thunderdome. TS or the IS-3 is not seeable. I thought it was, but as I'm looking at it, I go, oh no, wait, that's not quite right. And we got guys dying right and left. And this is for science. I just want to see how easy or uneasy this might be. I know that the TS is probably up high there. So now we're going to switch. Let's see if we can actually help the team a little bit here. If we can peel this TS-54 out, then we might be able to free up this lower or this other flank. We're going to wait for him and give that a shot and move on. And I can see we've lost in the brawl, so I'm not interested in sitting here while the T-10 or somebody rolls down the hill and kills me. 53, 55 is reasonably maneuverable or speedy, so we'll just get trucking. Team claws it back a little bit. We got it back to 7-7. That's all right. The 268-4 kind of figured it out and got into the city there. Mod 1 dies, so our light tanks have freed up the other side. And we take a little advantage, and then we go back to same. I'm reloaded. I probably needed to stop and try to get shots, so we're going to turn here, see if we can help these guys a little bit. This is tricky because Thunderdome comes pretty far southeast, but here we go. The JPZ, notice he just drove out of it. 268-4 is trying to take shots. Oh, here comes a Viper. Let's thump him. And we'll move. So we hit him for 283. 3805 dies to the light tank, so the enemy team no longer has an artillery. To be honest, this is not necessarily very different gameplay from the artillery standpoint on a standard game. It's just that I wasn't able to see a lot of the guys I'm shooting. So if you are an artillery player, that's what you like to do, this is probably not a mode you're going to like a whole bunch. I don't see a huge advantage with artillery to pushing into Thunderdome. If there are no enemies around, it might be a little bit useful for hiding. Let's say you get to the mid to late game like this. You can hide in there until somebody pokes their nose in themselves. I mean, you could literally, on this mode, sit on this hill out in the open with your artillery, and as long as nobody comes inside the little circle, they're not going to see you. I can see that being kind of a useful thing at times. I mean, say you know the enemy is over here at A7, he's on the back edge, and you've got a light tank up here at, say, 8.5 in the bushes, keeping him from pushing to you. You can sit right there in the open with a nice, clean, straight shot, and you're not going to be spotted. In fact, I don't know what happens to the artillery shell, to be honest. Anybody know? You might be able to put that for us down there in the comments. Can you see the shell leaving out of the area, or does it appear at the edge of it? That's an interesting question. I can't see the E25 because he's inside, right? You see him on the mini-map, but I couldn't see him. Now I can see that guy. I think I hit him here. Yep, I get 321. He dies. The Centurion finishes him off. I keep moving because nobody's seen the T10 for a while. I don't know where he is. The E75 gets rid of the Selma, so that hurts a bit. Vickers is on really good hit points, so I'm feeling pretty good about this, and we do have a light tank. Now watch the light tank, see when he penetrates the Thunderdome there. Let's see if he picks anybody else up. There we go, check it out. As soon as he went inside the line, he found the E75 sitting over there. Vickers is moving in. The question is, where's the Vipera? Is he in Thunderdome, or is he... Well, there's the T10. Let's watch the minimap while I shoot this guy. Where do they find the Vipera? Unfortunately, the Centurion was low hit points and he dies. We'll take a shot at him. I only got a critical. Alright, the Vipera and the E75 are both in Thunderdome. The 13105 kills one. Two of them. So he downs two guys. Low hit points, and we're down to just the T10. So notice they had to go in there and poke their noses in. So both those guys essentially hid inside the magic curtain there until somebody else poked their nose in. And think about it. Otherwise, the 13105 and the Vickers probably would have been seen approaching that. If on a standard mode you didn't have the rainstorm there, that approach would have been seen more than likely by the heavies sitting up there. The heavy and the TD. Let him sit there. I'm going to just watch this because there's no artillery. We thump him for 315. I'm showing 1,318 damage. I end up with 2,000. So there was 700 damage. Either on dark guys, because that would happen that way as well, even if they're outside of the event. I don't know if there was one of those, potentially, maybe. But certainly I had at least one inside the event, because I think I have some TS-60 damage as well. There's the artillery version of that. Not ideal. I got one more example. All right, for the fourth example, we're here on, what, Sand River? Yep, Sand River. You can see this actually has two spots. So there's a sandstorm up here, and there's a sandstorm down in the south. As we've mentioned, it's the Recon mission. People want to go see the new event, so most people are going to push into one of these two spots. There's only 4 of us going this way. This is maybe the most tactically interesting one that I ran into because of where this sandstorm is and the fact that there's another route through here, and you can shoot up into these areas from up across the top of the map, but you can't shoot from down below. Although there is a situation where you can get, well, no, you can't shoot from down below. Never mind. I was thinking they might be able to shoot you while you're lit, but that's only if you went outside of the area. So I'm going to poke my nose inside. Let's take a look at this line here and see if there's any way to see coming up on it. And man, there's no real indication. You can see that it's getting sandy, and if you look here on the mini map, I'm getting close, but watch what happens when we spot this dude here. Kind of watching this, and I think about, all right, let's move forward and see what we got. All right, there's an example. So I am outside of the event. The Borosk has spotted this guy outside of the event, the 430. If I could get close enough and get a light on him, I could take a shot before he goes dark. Okay, I went in, I back out, I find this guy, I bounce off his armor, he slaps me and kills my driver, of course, why not? So that guy is inside the event, the char. Now I backed out, now we're both dark. He can't see me, I can't see him. There's a bat chat inside the event, still lit. Interesting, I can't see him, but the Iron Arnie saw him. So the Iron Arnie must have just backed outside of the event. So notice the Bat Chat is on the minimap, but I don't see him because I'm now outside of the event. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. This is a horrible... The way it's mech'd right now, it's just terrible. Alright, so I push in and find this guy, slap him. And we're going to get an interesting tactical situation right here. If I'd have thought about it right now, I should have bailed. Alright? Because what's going to happen is the enemy team is going to leverage the fact that there's only two of us, that there's a 430 that now has spotted the both of us, right? And they have two autoloaders. I actually get kind of lucky with this guy being a Muppet because I get up there and shoot him in the lower plate. And I'm thinking we're really in good shape. And check it out. Boom. The Bat Chat has come around behind us. He's not inside the event, and I don't have any good options here. I try to turn around here, maybe get a shot. It's not working out at all. I get thumped by the 430U, who, because I've turned my turret, now I've got an E77. Here comes the Char Futur, the other autoloader. I get one more shot of damage, and I bite the dust right there from the Char Futur. It certainly gives some, I hesitate to say interesting. I'm just going to call them different tactical situations to deal with, but they're so completely different from the regular World of Tanks idea, and that might be right up your alley. You might just look at that and go, wow, that's really going to break things open in certain places. Notice that most of our team went down. This was kind of an interesting, I can't, my mouse now won't control because of the bug on the replay, but if you look over here, you'll see that most of our team went down here to the south, and they won that pretty quickly. And for whatever reason, the enemy team sent some guys to the standard middle spot. I mean, I get it. You will maybe want to try to play the map as best you can, but this is the recon mode. I don't know why you would go to places that weren't in the interesting spot. That's why right now everything's loading in, or everyone's just glomming into the Thunderdome arenas down there to take each other on. So it definitely has changed, at least short term, I guess, for recon mode has changed the way the maps play, as obviously it should. I don't know if it's necessarily for the better. I just find it to be different and a bit wonky in the way the mechanics work. Would I be okay with it if they worked on the way things disappeared or not, or maybe it just decreased vision inside? Probably. I mean, if it just decreased vision, but also the information was still passed via the radio, that might be a somewhat interesting, small effect on the game. Vice this just magic shield with weird rules for where you can see and what you can't see. It is kind of, I'm going to say immersion breaking, even though this is not a sim, and I get it, it's not necessarily an immersion thing, but it's jarring how people disappear, and it doesn't make any real common sense to how it works. I mean, maybe if you just took Sandstorm, this map, and one of the random things that could happen on it is the entire place is in a sandstorm and everyone's vision gets dropped. I mean, we saw that night, right? On the night mode. And everyone's vision gets dropped. Or maybe the sandstorm comes and goes. It gets bad, things drop, it clears up, things go back. You know what I'm saying? A little bit dynamic. It's the whole map, not just weird little arenas. I can see that being maybe interesting right there. That's it, fellas. That's what I've got on recon mode with the local weather things, either a sandstorm, a rainstorm, or a fire. The fire cracks me up with the damage it does to people. I am loath to have things on maps that decrease the usable area because some maps already have significant unusable areas. I don't think essentially random arenas in various spaces on the map is really a great idea. I really don't like the way the spotting mechanics work on it. I can't think of the abusable parts of it, but I guarantee you there are. There could be some really interesting ways that people use and abuse that. We'll have to see. The smarter players may already know. Some of you may already know or have seen some of the things you can do with it. I just don't. It's just jarring. It doesn't work for me. And at the end of the day, I wish Wargaming would stop messing with gimmicky garbage and just work on their base game. Like I said, if they gave us 20 new maps, even if they weren't the best maps of all time, and they continued worked on them, and they continued to work on balance on the tanks, tweaking tanks here and there as they go, I think that's would get them a lot more playability, a lot more interest from players who might be bored with all the same maps. I think just throwing up new tanks with more autoloaders and more barrels and faster and press X to have a magic shield or all the other BS that's going on, that's run its course, I think. I don't think it was a great idea to begin with. Content is king, but it has to be the right content. So I think maps and balance are the two things that they could really work on. It would also give them a lot of goodwill with players taking a more active stab at it. I know they have done it in the past. They've announced a lot of big things, some of which happened, some of which didn't happen. But it always feels like it's very stunted, and they have really peanut butter spread their efforts across a lot of things. You know, I don't know why we have a Miriam event. That the effort it takes to build all that, I don't know, man. I don't know, but here we go. We've got, I don't know what we're going to get with this, because it is recon mode. We've had some things come in recon mode, and they haven't necessarily gone into the game. I have no idea if this will end up in the game or not. I think if it does, it's going to need to have some work done on it, especially the spotting piece of it, exactly how the mechanics work. That, like I said, it's jarring and it's not good. It's not good at all. That's all I've got today, guys. Have a great one. I'm sure everyone's got a lot of opinions down there. Let me know about them. We will see ya.